You had a scary injury in Mexico. How many months has it been? And can you review a little bit about your injuries and your recovery getting back to racing?
Yeah, so April 3rd was my accident at the Vuelta Femenil, the UCI race in Mexico. To be honest, I don't remember the actual accident itself because what had happened was somebody ahead of me went down and apparently I had no out, and when I flew off my bike I ended up hitting my head, and it was a severe injury where it put me into seizures, and I broke 2 bones in my skull. And I didn't notice at the time. I was totally out, of course. But the doctor in the caravan of the UCI race was amazing. He saved my life right there on the sidewalk and got me to the hospital in enough time where they could save it again. So I'm forever grateful for that. How that played out was just unreal. So spent about 2.5 weeks in the hospitals between Mexico and Arizona in Tucson, and then was kind of in recovery mode. And at that point, no idea that bike racing would ever come around again and be in my future. And it was really about just learning to accept what had happened and just see what would happen with the brain and the clavicle and the bones. Would they heal? Would the brain inside those bones heal? Everything. And I feel very fortunate to have had great care in that time.
When did you start riding again?
I started getting on the bike, I think it was June 1st or so, somewhere in that first week of June.
Wow.
I got back on the bike, and my neurologist said, okay, you're at the point where you've healed enough where you can live your life, but also don't be stupid, in a complimentary way. Go ahead, if you want to race, that's okay, but we need to sit down and talk about certain things. There might be some races you want to avoid, look out for risks, don't make poor choices. So I said, I understand, I don't want to hit my head or injure my brain in any way. And he said, yes, you can't do that. That would be a very bad thing to have happen this year. So so I sent word to Cylance, said, all right, I'm allowed to come back, but let's talk about some races that are going to be safer. It is Cylance that chose Cascade for me. And I had said, hey, can we start at a one-day race? And I think they were like, yeah, sure, here are 5 one-day races. Here's a stage race. But we did talk a little bit about, the fact that, okay, go, but no expectations, just see how it feels, take it day by day. And my neurologist agreed too that there might be something in the future days where if I decide to stop and not race, he would support that. But so far, so good.
Any fear getting back into the peloton or anything like that?
No. In fact, that was one of the things I never wanted the fear of racing to be the last thing that I remembered about this sport. I wanted to start and just to be in a race for all the love and the good feeling of this sport that I have, And what happened in Mexico, that was a weird freak accident, In this sport, we go through lots of minor crashes, some things where you get tiny bumps and bruises here and there. It's very rare that you have an injury that can be that serious, and it was just a weird freak accident that happened. I didn't want that to be the end note of my career. I wanted to find some way to come back.
And you've been such a big advocate for women's cycling. This is the first year this race has been UCI. Most of the focus is here for the women. So what does that feel like?
I think it's great. I've always loved Cascade. I've done this race 2 or 3 times as an amateur back in 09, 10, and 11. 2011, I think, was the last time I was here. It's fantastic race. Great support, great teams, really well run. So the fact that it's got that nod of UCI approval right now, that's terrific for the women and for the men.
Is this your first time racing here?
I've been here twice before, at least, if not 3, and it's terrific.
What's your next races or?
Neither you nor I have the answer to that.
Okay.
That one's completely up to Cylance management and the director to let us know where we're going next. He certainly knows that I'd like to race again, because really we have August and September pretty much left. Of course, Worlds is in early October, but there's really only a couple more months left of the season, and for me being here, it feels like the win personally, to be able to be here. And if I get to race anywhere else, that would be awesome too.
The team just signed Carmen not too long ago. She's in the leader's jersey right now. It's a big competition right now between her and Kristen. How is it racing with her? You've known her for a while.
Yeah, I would say it was a very good decision for Cylance to hire Carmen Small. You know, and we're a team that only brought 4 to this race, and she's in the leader's jersey, so that's just fantastic.
Tough defending?
It's so great. Well, I'll let you know tomorrow. The time trial is not too much of a defense right there.
Well,
we just
true.
let her do her thing. But yeah, it's been terrific, and I know I have no doubt that there's a competitive rivalry between, you know, Carmen and anybody else that's top leader, and that's natural in the sport to have that kind of competition and everything. But you know, as to what Kristen and Carmen are feeling, that's between them. The big picture is, you know, both of them are fantastic athletes, and it makes us better to be racing with them. So that's how I'm going to look at it. You know, congrats to them both, whether it's Olympics or not. You know, it doesn't matter. It's fantastic all around.
All right, well, it's great to have you back, and thank you very much. Good luck for the rest of the week.
Oh, thank you very much. Thanks for being here.
Thanks.